When people misjudge you, it's rarely about who you are. It's about what their eyes are too slow to understand. That's the silent crime chosen ones deal with every single day. And it becomes even louder when you carry that rare blessing. You look much younger than your age. A face that refuses to match your years. A presence that refuses to wrinkle under pressure. A glow that refuses to dim no matter how much life tried to break you. But here's the twist. Instead of inspiring respect, it triggered a dangerous illusion in people. They thought your youthful looks meant you were someone they could play with, control, or underestimate. They treated your ageless appearance like a green light to test boundaries you never gave them permission to touch. And the funniest part? They didn't know they were poking a soul that has lived 10 lifetimes worth of lessons. They judged the packaging, not the power. They looked at your face and completely missed the mileage on your spirit. It's like assuming a sleek, polished car is slow, then getting shocked when it outruns everything on the highway. Here's a fact that makes it even more ironic. Studies show people automatically assume youthful-looking individuals are less experienced, less authoritative, and more naive, even when they're decades older. So your entire life has been one long social experiment, and you didn't sign up for it. You were simply trying to mind your business, drink your water, moisturize your soul. And boom! Someone thought they could test you because you don't look like what you've survived. But that's where your story gets powerful. The same youthful glow they underestimated is the same glow that comes from surviving darkness without letting it stain your face. It's the glow of someone who healed instead of hardened, someone who learned without aging, someone who carries wisdom without wearing sorrow on their skin. And now, those same people who once thought you were easy to manipulate, they're realizing they picked the wrong one. They misjudged the quiet storm. They underestimated someone whose spirit is older than their bad intentions. So let's talk about it. Why chosen ones who look younger than their age become the most underestimated, misread and tested individuals, and why those assumptions always backfire spectacularly. This is where it finally makes sense. Number 1. They mistook your youthful glow for inexperience. People looked at you and thought they already had you figured out. They saw your youthful glow and jumped to the conclusion that you didn't know much about life, as if a smooth face automatically meant a smooth path. They made the mistake of assuming your appearance was a mirror of your story. In their minds, someone who looks young must still be learning the basics, still stumbling around, still relying on guidance from people who know better. That's the illusion they wrapped around you before you even opened your mouth. What they didn't realize is that your youthful glow had nothing to do with inexperience and everything to do with the way you carry yourself through life. You've been through things that could have aged you overnight, but you refused to let the world carve its fingerprints into your face. You went through your storms with a level of self-awareness and emotional intelligence they didn't expect. They thought you were new to the world, but the truth is you've simply mastered how not to look like what you survived. And this is where the shock always hits them. They approach you like you're a beginner, talking down to you, trying to advise you on things you learned years ago. They underestimate your insight, your intuition, and your instincts. They assume you'll be easy to sway, easy to mislead, or easy to impress. Then the conversation shifts. Your depth slips through, your discernment comes alive, and suddenly their whole assumption collapses on itself. They realize they've been speaking to someone who sees right through them. Your youthful glow became a mask that protected your wisdom, not a symbol of the lack of it. It allowed you to observe people without revealing how much you truly know. It tricked people into showing you their real intentions because they didn't think you had the experience to detect them. And the funniest part is, they played themselves. They forgot that looking young and being inexperienced are two different worlds. You earned your glow by learning fast, healing fast, and understanding life in ways that don't age the face but deepen the mind. Their mistake was thinking you were behind them, when in reality, you were miles ahead. Number 2, they forgot. Youthfulness is often a sign of emotional cleanliness. Your youthful appearance isn't just a random gift. It's a reflection of how well you've managed yourself inside. People saw your face, smooth and vibrant, and assumed it came from luck or genetics, as if staying unscarred by the chaos around you was something that just happens. They completely overlooked the deeper truth. The reason you look younger than your years is because your inner world is disciplined, organized, and unpolluted by bitterness. You've survived storms without letting them live rent-free in your heart. Your youthfulness is evidence of emotional cleanliness, and most people can't recognize it because they confuse external weariness with wisdom. They age quickly because they carry grudges, insecurities, and resentment everywhere they go. Their faces tell stories of battles they never resolved, mistakes they never forgave, and envy they couldn't release. You, on the other hand, understand that letting anger, betrayal, or jealousy linger does more damage than the original harm ever could. You process, you release, you restore, and it shows. Your youthful glow is a direct consequence of not letting negativity fester internally. They mistook your appearance for naivety, but it's actually a sign of discipline and mastery, and that's where their biggest mistake comes in. They assumed someone who looks young must be pliable, untested, or naive. They didn't see that you've survived experiences that would have left most people aged, bitter, and broken. They didn't see the emotional maintenance it took to stay unscarred. They ignored the countless battles fought silently, the lessons absorbed without letting them poison your spirit, and the strength required to remain light while carrying heavy truths. Your youthfulness disarms people, but it's also a warning they miss. You have clarity, control, and wisdom they can't match. They misread freshness for vulnerability, softness for weakness, and brightness for ignorance. The truth is, you are neither fragile nor inexperienced. You're clean, intact, and far more dangerous than they ever suspected. And that emotional cleanliness doesn't just preserve your looks, it preserves your power. Number 3, they misunderstood your calm appearance as a lack of survival scars. People looked at you and saw calm, composure, and an unshakable presence, and they immediately assumed your life had been easy. They thought someone who carries themselves with quiet confidence must have walked a smooth path, untouched by hardship, pain, or betrayal. They didn't realize that calmness is not the absence of storms, but mastery over them. Your exterior doesn't scream trauma or battle scars because you chose to survive without wearing them on your face. You've been through fire, but fire never burned the soul you carry so gracefully. They expected a reaction, an edge, a telltale sign of struggle. They wanted to see lines of worry, eyes that betray sleepless nights, and faces that reflect constant fights with life. Instead, they got someone who walks with control, who handles every situation without losing themselves, and who doesn't allow the chaos around them to shape the way they look or act. Their mistake was believing that life's weight must always show. They misjudged strength as softness and composure as vulnerability. Every calm expression, every steady gesture, every unhurried movement is a testament to your mastery. It's proof that you survived things people would have thought left permanent damage. It's proof that you learned how to absorb hardship, process it, and let it teach you without staining you. The calm they misread is a silent power. They thought it meant you had nothing to defend, nothing to protect, and nothing to fight for. In reality, it signals that you've already fought, won, and walked away without carrying the weight unnecessarily. What they didn't anticipate is how disarming calmness can be. It lulls them into underestimating you, making them careless, revealing more than they intend. They miscalculated completely because they judged the surface and ignored the depth. The calm you wear like armor doesn't mean you haven't been through war. It means you've learned how to emerge from it unbroken, wiser and far stronger than anyone expected. They mistook composure for weakness, but in truth, it is the sign of a survivor who no one can corner, control, or manipulate without consequences they aren't ready for. Number 4. They thought soft features meant soft boundaries. People looked at you and saw a gentle face, smooth expressions, and a presence that didn't demand constant attention, and they immediately assumed your boundaries were just as soft as your features. They believed that someone who looks approachable, youthful, or calm must be easy to push around, easy to manipulate, and easy to dismiss. They didn't consider that the softness they saw was a deliberate shield, a choice, not a weakness. You weren't born gentle in the face of chaos. You learned how to remain composed while drawing lines they would never dare cross. They walked into your space thinking they could test limits you didn't openly display. They assumed that because you didn't wear aggression on your sleeve, you lacked the capacity to defend yourself. They didn't realize that soft features can be the most deceptive kind of armor. You learned that the world often judges by appearance, so you allowed them to misjudge you, knowing it would reveal their true intentions. They thought they could take liberties with someone who looked young and unthreatening, but they didn't account for the precision of your boundaries and the quiet authority you carry. Your gentleness isn't naivety, it's control. Every calm smile and every serene gesture conceals a depth of discernment they can't read at first glance. You know how to let people believe they're navigating a soft surface, while in reality, you've built invisible walls that protect your energy, your time, and your peace. They underestimated the iron beneath the velvet, the sharpness beneath the calm, and the vigilance behind the approachable exterior. And that's where the surprise hits hardest. The same softness they tried to exploit becomes the reason they fail. They misread restraint for tolerance, patience for weakness, and gentleness for surrender. You don't have to shout, glare, or fight to enforce your boundaries. They exist independently of how you look. Soft features do not equal soft limits. The world may assume you can be easily moved, easily swayed, or easily controlled, but you carry a quiet, unyielding strength that no one sees coming, and that is exactly why they miscalculated. Number 5. They thought you were easy to manipulate because you still looked untouched. People looked at you and saw freshness, energy, and a face that hadn't been carved by too many battles, and they assumed you were easy to influence. They believed that someone who looks untouched by time or struggle must be untouched by life itself, untested, and unprepared for confrontation. They walked in thinking they could push you around, bend your will, or steer your choices because they assumed a youthful appearance equals pliability. What they didn't realize is that the very glow they judged as innocence is the product of survival, discipline, and unshakable internal strength. Your untouched look was never about naivety. It's a reflection of your ability to endure without absorbing poison. You've faced storms, betrayals, and manipulations, but you've mastered the art of navigating them without letting them leave permanent marks on your energy. The people who tried to take advantage of you didn't see the countless lessons you'd learned the hard way, the boundaries you silently erected, or the instincts that have been honed by experience they couldn't begin to imagine. They misread resilience as inexperience, composure as compliance, and calm as ignorance. The irony is in how their assumptions backfire. They treated you like a novice, only to discover that you were already steps ahead. They miscalculated because they judged by skin and expression, not by the wisdom encoded in your choices and your reactions. Every attempt to manipulate you revealed more about their weaknesses than about your capabilities. Your untouched appearance became a strategic advantage. It allowed them to expose themselves while you stayed composed, unaffected, and fully aware of their intentions. They thought they were testing someone inexperienced, but in reality, they were dealing with someone who had mastered observation, patience, and self-control. They underestimated the depth beneath the surface, the foresight behind your actions, and the power of a soul that refuses to be tainted by chaos. Your appearance may deceive them at first, but your actions prove that untouched doesn't mean powerless. It means prepared, disciplined, and untouchable in ways they never expected. Number 6. They saw your light skin but not your heavy wisdom. People saw your appearance and immediately made assumptions based on the surface. They noticed your light, smooth skin, your unlined face, your glow, and they assumed that meant simplicity, innocence, or lack of depth. What they completely missed was the weight you carry beneath that skin, the wisdom, the lessons, the insight earned through experiences that would have aged them decades over. They were too busy measuring you by the wrong standard, thinking that someone who looks fresh must be fresh to life itself. What they didn't understand is that your exterior is a mask for something far more formidable. Knowledge born of survival, observation, and quiet reflection. Your light skin and youthful appearance became a weapon they didn't recognize. They assumed vulnerability where there was none, and they underestimated the depth of your understanding of human nature, the kind that only comes from facing challenges head-on and refusing to be broken by them. They didn't see the countless times you processed betrayal without letting it poison your energy, the nights you spent learning lessons that left others bitter, or the subtle ways you anticipated danger before it even reached you. They judged based on surface-level cues and missed the layers of preparation and intelligence that underpin every decision you make. The funny part is how easy it is for people to misjudge someone like you. They confuse what they see with what they think exists, and in doing so, they expose themselves. They talk as if you don't know what's coming, as if you're still figuring out the rules, as if you're going to stumble where they think you will. But your glow, your youthful appearance, and your light features don't reveal the truth. They conceal it. They hide the fact that you've learned far more than they ever imagined, and that you move through life with a clarity that their assumptions can't touch. Your appearance invites them to underestimate you, and that's exactly why it works. They see only what is obvious and miss the substance, the depth, the sharpness, and the wisdom you carry like armor. They mistake radiance for naivety, but radiance for you is proof of mastery. It's proof that while others aged in resentment and fear, you stayed light, learned hard, and emerged stronger than anyone expected. They see the skin, but they miss the soul, and that is the advantage you hold over every misjudgment made against you. Number 7. They thought you didn't know the game, because you didn't look weathered by it. People saw your youthful face, your composed demeanor, and the lack of visible stress etched into your features, and they assumed you were new to the struggles of life. They believed that someone who looks untouched by strain must be untouched by the realities of manipulation, betrayal, and challenge. They thought they could approach you, test you, or even deceive you because your exterior didn't match the picture of a seasoned survivor. What they failed to grasp is that the absence of visible wear doesn't mean the absence of experience. It means mastery over it. You've been through storms that would leave most people marked for life, and yet you walk through the world carrying none of the chaos's obvious scars. They underestimated your awareness, thinking that wisdom always comes stamped in wrinkles and hardened expressions. They assumed the game had to leave visible proof of survival, and when they didn't see it, they dismissed the possibility that you had already won countless rounds quietly. Every glance they took, Every assumption they made was a miscalculation. They mistook calm for inexperience, composure for simplicity, and presence for passivity. What they didn't know is that while their lives shouted their hardships, yours whispered your victories. You learned the rules, understood the patterns, and perfected your strategy without letting life leave fingerprints on your spirit. Their misjudgment became your advantage. While they expected you to falter under pressure or reveal uncertainty, you moved with precision and insight. You saw their intentions before they could act, read the situations they thought they controlled, and responded in ways they didn't anticipate. They assumed the game would wear you down like it wore them down. But your approach to life doesn't require obvious evidence of struggle to prove competence. They thought they could test someone who appeared untouched by the world, but in reality, they were testing someone whose control, perception, and skill had been honed far beyond what appearances could reveal. Your youthful look is a weapon of subtle deception, and while they counted on signs of fatigue and age, you moved through life with clarity, strategy, and awareness they never suspected. They saw the surface and missed the depth, and that miscalculation gave you the upper hand in every encounter. Number 8, they mistook your unaged look for a frozen mindset. People saw your youthful appearance and jumped to the conclusion that your mind had stayed in the same place it had been years ago. They assumed that looking young meant thinking young, as if your thoughts were shallow, your decisions immature, or your awareness limited. They didn't realize that your appearance and your mind are completely separate dimensions. Your face may not carry the weight of time, but your mind carries the depth of experience that most people twice your age haven't even begun to acquire. They assumed you were frozen in a moment, but in reality, you've been evolving silently, learning quickly, and adapting in ways that keep you light while others get weighed down. They underestimated the capacity of someone who doesn't wear struggle or stress as visible badges. They believed you hadn't faced enough life to develop sharp intuition, strong judgment, or the ability to read situations with clarity. They were shocked when you acted decisively, understood complexities effortlessly, and responded with insight they didn't expect. Your youthfulness hid decades of accumulated wisdom. Every challenge you faced was processed without letting it distort your outlook, and every lesson was absorbed without leaving a trace on your appearance. They didn't see the quiet mental rigor that keeps you ahead. They only saw the surface, and that surface told the wrong story. The irony is that your unaged look makes you a living paradox to them. They assume stillness, but your mind is in constant motion, analyzing, predicting, and strategizing. They assume naivety, but you've seen patterns in human behavior they are still blind to. They assume simplicity, but your understanding of life's complexity is precise and refined. That dissonance between what they see and what you truly are creates discomfort, confusion, and eventually fear, because appearances can be deceiving. They mistook your youthful appearance for a frozen mindset, but in reality, it's a cover for mastery. You don't need wrinkles to prove experience. You don't need a worn expression to carry authority. Your mind has been alive, alert, and developing while the world around you assumed you were static. They judged the wrong thing entirely, and that is exactly why your presence always surprises, outsmarts, and outlasts their expectations. Number 9. They underestimated you because you didn't carry the wrinkles of their regrets. People looked at your face and saw smooth skin, brightness, and an energy that hadn't been weighed down by the mistakes of others, and they immediately assumed you hadn't lived enough to matter. They believed that life's lessons always leave visible marks, and because they couldn't see the evidence of struggle etched into your face, they thought you were inexperienced, naive, or untested. They didn't realize that not carrying visible scars isn't a sign of ignorance, it's a sign of mastery. You didn't let life's blows define you. You absorbed the lessons, discarded the unnecessary weight, and carried forward with clarity, leaving your face free of the burdens that age others prematurely. Your youthful appearance becomes a silent challenge to their assumptions. They aged under the pressure of regret, holding on to grudges, past mistakes, and failed expectations like heavy luggage they refused to unpack. Every wrinkle, every line, every sign of wear on them is evidence of battles they let leave permanent marks. You, on the other hand, survived equally, or more, intense struggles without letting them seep into your energy or your expression. You processed the hardships, learned the necessary lessons, and let go of everything that didn't serve you. Your smooth face isn't weakness. It's proof that you've mastered resilience, wisdom, and emotional control in a way they can't even recognize. The underestimation they committed is exactly where your power lies. They assumed vulnerability, ignorance, and a lack of experience, and they approached you expecting an easy target. What they didn't realize is that beneath the unmarked skin and youthful glow is someone who has faced the same life storms they have, but with the ability to extract knowledge without carrying the weight. You've internalized lessons without letting them manifest as bitterness or exhaustion. They mistook the absence of visible regret for absence of experience, and that misjudgment gave you an upper hand. While they reveal their insecurities, mistakes, and intentions through their visible burdens, you move with quiet authority, clarity, and precision. Not carrying the wrinkles of regret doesn't mean you haven't lived. It means you've survived smarter, cleaner, and stronger. They underestimated your depth, and that underestimation is exactly what gives you control. Number 10, they assumed you were still figuring life out because you didn't look drained by it. People saw your energy, your glow, and your seemingly effortless composure, and immediately assumed you were still learning, still stumbling, still figuring out the basics of life. They believed that anyone who hasn't been visibly worn down by stress, heartbreak, or failure must be untested, inexperienced, or naive. They couldn't see that your vitality wasn't a sign of ignorance, it was proof of mastery. You navigated life's challenges with precision, absorbed lessons without letting them crush you, and emerged unshaken, refined, and far ahead of those who assumed they had the upper hand. They expected signs of struggle. They looked for the exhaustion, the visible strain, the face that tells a story of countless sleepless nights and unhealed wounds. When they didn't see it, they assumed you weren't battle-tested. They didn't realize that you've faced storms that would have left most people drained for decades, yet you learned how to endure without letting life dictate your energy. Your strength isn't loud, it's quiet, but it's undeniable. Your composure isn't accidental, it's deliberate. And your clarity isn't a beginner's luck. It's the result of careful observation, reflection, and intelligent action over years of navigating complex situations. The irony is that their misjudgment gave you an advantage. They approached you thinking you were a work in progress, someone who could be molded, influenced, or taken lightly. But their assumptions exposed them. They underestimated your foresight, your awareness, and your ability to see intentions before they were acted on. While they expected uncertainty, they were met with strategy. While they assumed inexperience, they encountered insight. You didn't look drained because you don't let life's chaos become permanent on your spirit. You recover, you reflect, and you rise stronger with every challenge. Your youthful energy isn't a flaw. It's a sign that you figured life out in ways they never imagined. They assumed you were still learning the game, but the truth is, you've already mastered it, and that mastery is exactly what leaves them blindsided, frustrated, and ultimately powerless in your presence. Number 11. They thought you wouldn't have a voice. because you didn't have visible battle marks. People saw your youthful face, your smooth skin, and your calm demeanor, and they assumed that someone who looked untouched by struggle would also be unheard, pliable, or silent in the face of confrontation. They thought authority, confidence, and influence only come stamped in wrinkles, scars, or signs of exhaustion. They couldn't fathom that your power doesn't need to announce itself through visible battle marks. You don't have to look like life has broken you to prove that you can stand firmly, speak decisively, and hold everyone accountable around you. Their mistake was assuming that appearances dictate strength. They believed that the absence of visible suffering meant the absence of experience, the absence of knowledge, or the absence of impact. They didn't realize that your calm exterior hides a mind that's sharper than most, a soul that's older than most, and a voice that carries weight because it comes from understanding, not performance. Your authority isn't derived from exhaustion, it's derived from clarity. Every word you speak, every decision you make is rooted in observation, discernment, and the confidence that comes from surviving without letting life define you. They misjudged how silence can be louder than noise. They didn't see that your quietness, paired with youthfulness, forces people to underestimate you. They expected hesitation, uncertainty, or meekness. Instead, they met a presence that commands attention simply because it isn't frantic, reactive, or desperate to prove itself. The absence of visible struggle doesn't mean the absence of agency. It means the presence of control, balance, and restraint. The irony is that those who doubted you, thinking you lacked a voice, are often the ones exposing themselves the most. They underestimate your insight, and in doing so, they reveal their weaknesses, intentions, and, number 12, they assumed you wouldn't notice their intentions because you looked innocent. People looked at your youthful appearance, your composed demeanor, and your calm presence, and immediately assumed they could move around you undetected. They believed that someone who looks innocent, unbothered, or fresh in the world would be oblivious to the subtle games people play, the hidden agendas that often run beneath the surface. They didn't realize that your innocence is not ignorance. Your glow, your smoothness, and your lightness are the result of careful observation, self-discipline, and the ability to absorb life without letting it cloud your judgment. They thought they could hide their intentions, underestimate your perception, and manipulate you without consequence, but they were walking straight into a trap they didn't even see. Your youthful appearance disarms them, but it also conceals your perception. They didn't account for the fact that you've learned to read beyond the obvious. You notice the slight shifts in tone, the inconsistencies in stories, the energy people carry even when their words say something else. While they believed their motives were invisible, you were quietly noting, analyzing, and remembering. Every misstep they made, every hidden intention they assumed you wouldn't detect, only reinforced the gap between their expectations and your reality. Their assumptions became a guide, revealing more than they intended. They mistook your calm and youthful glow for naivety, but in reality, it is your armor. It allows you to move through the world with clarity while people reveal themselves unwittingly. Your appearance creates a false sense of security in them, and they fall into it willingly. They expose themselves because they assume someone who looks untouched by struggle will be easily fooled. What they don't realize is that you've survived far more than they can imagine, and your perception isn't limited by your age or appearance. They assumed innocence equals unawareness, but your innocence is calculated. It is a choice that allows you to see everything without revealing that you see it. Every hidden agenda, every subtle manipulation, every attempt to test you, they notice. Your youthful appearance was never a liability. It was a silent advantage, a way to watch, learn, and act, while the world underestimated your insight. Number 13. They thought you would need them because you looked green. People saw your youthful face, your fresh energy, and your smooth demeanor, and immediately assumed you were dependent, inexperienced, or in need of guidance. They believed that someone who doesn't show the visible weight of life must lean on others for support, validation, or direction. They thought you would be grateful for their advice, their approval, or even their interference. What they failed to realize is that looking green doesn't mean lacking strength, skill, or independence. You've learned how to survive, thrive, and navigate life on your own terms, and your appearance has always been a mask for your self-sufficiency. They underestimated the power of someone who carries quiet confidence without broadcasted struggles. They expected reliance, compliance, and vulnerability, but they were met with the opposite. Your youthful appearance gave them a false sense of superiority, but it hid the countless lessons you've absorbed without letting them leave visible marks. Every challenge you've faced, every trap you've avoided, and every manipulation you've noticed has been handled independently, and that independence isn't obvious at first glance. They misread freshness for weakness and simplicity for neediness. The mistake they made was assuming that age or appearance dictates capability. While they assumed you would stumble, seek guidance, or wait for their permission to act, you were already steps ahead. Your decisions, your awareness, and your actions come from experience, strategy, and instinct, not from anyone else's influence. The world may have judged you by the surface, but your reality has always been deeper, sharper, and far more self-reliant than anyone anticipated. They thought they could fill a gap you didn't have, thinking they were offering what you supposedly lacked. In reality, their interference was irrelevant. You didn't need them, and the more they tried to involve themselves, the more they revealed their own misjudgment. Looking green never meant being dependent. It meant appearing underestimated while quietly mastering every situation. Their assumptions about your neediness were not only wrong, they highlighted how far ahead you've always been, moving independently in ways they will never fully grasp. Number 14. They thought looking young meant being powerless, but you use agelessness as a weapon. People looked at your youthful face and immediately assumed they had an advantage. They believed that someone who looks younger than their age must be weaker, easier to manipulate, or less experienced. They treated your appearance as a signal to test boundaries, push limits, or challenge you in ways they would never dare with someone who looked their part. What they failed to see is that your agelessness isn't a vulnerability. It's a weapon, subtle yet devastating in its effectiveness. Your youthfulness disarms them, lulls them into overconfidence, and makes them reveal exactly what you need to see. Your glow, your smoothness, and your vitality hide the power you've cultivated over the years. You've learned to survive, to observe, and to act without letting life's chaos leave permanent marks on you. That energy they misread as fragility is actually the result of resilience, strategy, and self-mastery. They underestimate you because they only judge what they see, not what you carry internally. While they assume weakness, you've been quietly learning, quietly preparing, and quietly positioning yourself so that when the moment comes, you act with precision. Your youthful appearance is the perfect camouflage for wisdom and power that they cannot detect at first glance. The irony is that their assumptions work entirely in your favor. They expose their intentions, reveal their flaws, and make decisions based on the false belief that you are inexperienced or powerless. You don't have to play the part they expect, and because you don't, they fall into mistakes that you can anticipate and exploit. They think they are testing someone who will falter, but instead, they're walking straight into someone who has already mastered the game. Agelessness in you is more than appearance. It's influence, insight, and authority that operate quietly but effectively. Your youth doesn't mean ignorance or weakness. It means you've survived without letting life mark you unnecessarily, and you move through the world with a clarity and control that blinds those who judge you by skin alone. They thought they could take advantage, but in reality, your agelessness makes you untouchable, unpredictable, and far stronger than anyone assumed. The truth about chosen ones who look younger than their age is far deeper than anyone around you could ever perceive at first glance. Every assumption people make, their judgments about your inexperience, vulnerability, or naivety, is built on a surface they can see but a depth they cannot comprehend. Your youthful appearance doesn't betray weakness, it conceals resilience. It hides wisdom that has been earned through challenges, battles survived in silence, and lessons absorbed without letting life leave permanent marks. You've mastered the art of carrying strength without displaying strain, authority without demanding attention, and clarity without needing to prove yourself. Every person who underestimated you did so because they measured reality by what they could see, not by what exists beneath it. They assumed soft features meant soft boundaries, calm demeanor meant passivity, and untouched looks meant dependency. What they didn't realize is that each one of these traits, your glow, your composure, your innocence, your youthful energy, is a strategic advantage. They misread you at every turn, revealing their intentions, weaknesses, and overconfidence, while you remained fully aware, fully prepared, and fully untouchable. Your agelessness has been a weapon all along, disarming those who misjudge you, exposing the truth about their character, and allowing you to move through life with a precision and authority they can't anticipate. This is not luck, coincidence, or a passive gift. It is the result of deliberate survival, disciplined self-care, and a level of spiritual and emotional awareness that the world around you is rarely ready to understand. Your youthfulness is a testament to power mastered quietly, wisdom earned without show, and resilience that does not need to be broadcast. People will continue to misjudge, underestimate, and challenge you, but each miscalculation only confirms how far ahead you are, how untouchable you have become, and how fully you command your life. If you've been watching this and recognizing yourself in these truths, don't just let them pass quietly. Subscribe to the channel now to stay connected with insights that reveal the hidden power within you. Like this video if it resonates with your journey. Comment to share your experiences and make sure to share it with others who need to understand what it truly means to be underestimated, misread, and unstoppable. This is your life, your mastery, and your story. Let it be seen, heard, and celebrated. God bless you.